Hello everybody, I'm Brian DeMars with VintageMagic.com here at Gen Con. I'm with Aaron Swerdlow-Freed, and we're going to be doing a deck tech on his Monastery Mentor deck. What made you decide to play Monastery Mentor, Aaron?
So a couple weeks back, LSV posted a pretty sweet list that was just playing 2 mentors and was a pretty solid control deck. I started tinkering around with it and noticed that while he had a lot of interesting cards going on, like Repeal, Mystic Remora, all that, the games I was winning were the ones where I cast Dig Through Time. So I just kept adding more Dig Through Times, adding Treasure Cruise, adding more Gushes, and what I've got now is just a deck that just wants to draw more cards than anyone else is doing in Vintage, and the hope is that by the time I finish doing that, I'll figure some way to win.
Drawing cards is pretty good. And to be clear, what is the appropriate number of Dig Through Times?
If you're not playing 4 Dig Through Time, your deck is wrong. Like, if you can cast the spell and you're not playing 4, you're wrong. If you can cast Gush and you're not playing 4, you're wrong. You can just draw so many more cards and you lose very, very little into any matchup for this. We're playing 4 Preordain, 4 Gush, 4 Dig, a Treasure Cruise, a Ponder, a Recall, and a Brainstorm. We just see so many cards in every game. On top of that, we have 2 Dak Faden to fuel our 5 Delve spells and to get rid of the lands with Gush. Gush very quickly can become a draw 4 rather than a draw 2 in this deck.
So what I'm hearing here is that this version of the deck, maxing out on Dig Through Times, is just, it's a Dig Through Time combo deck almost.
Exactly. Some of the mentor control decks are very interested in kind of playing that grindy game, hoping that Mystic Remora really does a lot. We're not interested in our opponent having to let our deck work. We're much more interested in just powering through. Sometimes you just make a mentor on 1, you drop a couple of tokens, and you just race whatever they do. But a lot of times you can just 2 for 1 yourself off Force of Will and not care, because Dig Through Time is going to get you back in the game. It's going to give you that card advantage that you need.
So quick question before we move on to the sideboard. After playing it today, is there anything you would toy with, tinker around, any numbers you would change maybe? Or are you locked in?
Where my list is currently is based a lot on my local metagame in New York. We have a lot of people playing Mud. It's about 50% of the field, but no one is playing stacks. So I get to be really greedy, but at the same time, I'm playing 3 basic islands. I don't want to lose to Wasteland. I'm also not playing a Mana Crypt or a Soul Ring, because while those cards are really good in the Mud matchup, they're not something I want to see basically anywhere else. So I have a few metagame choices. Realistically, one of the islands can become a strip mine. You can play a 2nd Pyroblast over the mana drain if you want, but I've really been happy with a lot of the singletons that I've been running.
So it just depends on where you play, how you want to get your percentages.
Exactly, it's a control deck. You gotta adapt.
So this sideboard looks pretty straightforward. You've got, looks like some Dredge and Oath hate, some Artifact hate, a land. What land is this? I don't even know.
All right, so we have this mountain. It's pretty cool. I like the mountain a lot.
It's a mountain.
Yeah, realistically, looking at the sideboard, you might notice I've got basically 6 pieces of dedicated Mud hate, 6 pieces of dedicated Oath and Dredge hate, a Pithing Needle that's mostly just there for Dredge and Mud again, and just literally Pyroblast for the blue mirrors. And that's because what I was finding in my testing, just 30, 40, 50 games against the other blue decks, we just don't have an issue against them. You might lose a game here or there, but you're really not losing games to decks that want to play Jace. We even did some testing, just opponent starts with Jace in play, let's see if we can win. And the game had to go past about turn 8 without us killing Jace before it actually became an issue.
Sounds good. Looks solid. Got good plan for everything. What are those for?
Alright, so I needed some form of mentor tokens, and Jason Angle was kind enough to draw me a pretty ridiculous looking Ugin. So anytime I have 4 tokens in play, I'm gonna have an Ugin in play, and that seems pretty strong in Vintage.
Seems like you're setting a new standard for cool tokens for the Mentor deck.
Well, I mean, nothing else in the deck can be as sweet as that, so gotta do something there.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing your deck with us. Looks awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome. For more videos on Vintage, check out Vintage Magic at YouTube, and for more content, Vintage articles and videos, check out VintageMagic.com. Thanks again, Aaron.
Thank you.